Hi, I'm Kerry Critchlow from Falling Into Fire, and today I'm here to talk to you about what I learned from Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters sounds like something monkeys do in the zoo, but today we're here to talk about the famous rock band. Wikipedia. Foo Fighters are an American rock band formed in Seattle, Washington in 1994. It was founded by Nirvana drummer Dave Grohl as a one-man project following the death of Kurt Cobain and the resulting dissolution of his previous band. The group got its name from the UFOs and various aerial phenomena that were reported by the Allied aircraft pilots in World War II, which were known collectively as Foo Fighters. Over the course of the band's career, 4 of its albums have won 11 Grammy Awards, winning Best Rock Album 4 times. Rock on! Okay, so you happen to be the drummer in one of the biggest rock bands of all time, a band that epitomized the 90s rock scene and sound. And then it all ends with the death of one of your closest friends, who happens to also be the lead singer. What do you do? Well, maybe I could... Well, if you're anything like Dave Grohl, you grieve for a while. And then you go out and start an even more successful rock band, except this time you're the lead singer, and drummer, and guitarist, and well, everything else for that matter. Well, of course, that's one way to do it. Now, although the Foo Fighters didn't exist until 1995, Grohl was writing songs back in 1992 while he was still a part of Nirvana. However, he was a little too nervous to present the material to the band. Grohl later said in an interview that he was in awe of frontman Kurt Cobain's songs and a bit intimidated. He thought it best that he keep his songs to himself. Understandable. After Cobain's death in '94, Dave was offered drumming gigs in several different bands, including Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. He decided to turn down all the offers and record an album himself, playing every instrument and singing every vocal part. Really? Okay, with the exception of one guitar part on the song Ecstatic. He completed recording 15 songs in 5 days, not an easy thing to do by the way, and then handed copies of the sessions to his friends for feedback. Although he was hoping to stay somewhat anonymous, hence naming the demo Foo Fighters. The tape started circulating throughout the music industry and soon generated some major label buzz. The early material was often compared to Nirvana, and Grohl acknowledged that he was heavily influenced by Kurt Cobain. Really? You mean he was influenced by a guy who he spent years playing with while defining the sound of the 90s? Inconceivable! Grohl stated in '97 that we all love music, whether it's Queen, the Beatles, or punk rock. He thought the lure of punk rock was the energy and the immediacy, the need to thrash stuff around. But at the same time, we're all suckers for a beautiful melody, you know? So it's just natural. Well, Grohl said that, not me. And who says drummers can't be musicians? Grohl ultimately licensed the demo-turned album to Capitol Records, releasing it on his new record label, Roswell Records. He recruited players to help him tour, and the Foo Fighters were born. Interestingly, Grohl refused to do interviews or play large arenas in order to promote the album, and this apparently gave them an underground credibility that helped them to build their fan base rather quickly. Keeping it real. Dave entered the studio in '96 to record their new album, The Color and the Shape, this time with the band. He still wrote all the songs, but did allow the band to help with the arrangements. As the album was nearing completion, he realized he wasn't happy with how the mixes were turning out, and decided to re-record almost the entire album. He even recorded the new drum parts, which made his actual drummer, William Goldsmith, angry enough to quit the band. Billy Corgan? Anyone? Anyone?
The world is a vampire.
Grohl admits that he still feels guilty about how it all went down, but that it was necessary at the time in order for the album to achieve the success it did. Ironically enough, in later years, Dave earned the reputation of being one of the nicest guys in rock. The third album, There Is Nothing Left to Lose, was released in '99 and recorded in Grohl's home studio in Virginia, which he bought and built. The album earned the band its first Billboard 100 single, Learn to Fly. The band nearly broke up entirely while working on their fourth album, One by One. There was a lot of infighting and frustration with the recording sessions. They spent 4 months and a lot of money recording at an LA studio. After some soul searching, the band decided to re-record almost the entire album, again, in Dave's home studio in 10 days, and release the album in 2002. If at first you don't succeed, re-record the album. In your honor, their fifth album was originally intended to be a solo acoustic record for Grohl, but it eventually evolved into a double-disc Foo Fighters album, with one side being primarily rock songs and the other acoustic tracks. They released that record in 2005, and 2 years later, they released Echoes, Silence, Patience, and Grace, which was both critically and commercially acclaimed. That album was nominated for 5 Grammy Awards in 2008. Foo Fighters went home with Best Rock Album and Best Hard Rock Performance for their song The Pretender. The album was nominated for Album of the Year, while The Pretender was nominated for Record of the Year and Best Rock Song. Not too shabby. Indeed. Wasting Light, the band's 7th and most recent album to date, was released in 2011 and debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 for the very first time. They worked with producer Butch Vig, who also did Nevermind, and recorded in Dave Grohl's garage using all analog equipment. This album won 5 Grammys and was nominated for 6. Throughout their careers, Foo Fighters have toured relentlessly and been one of the hardest working bands around. They've had their ups and downs, but throughout they've delivered some great music that millions of fans have come to love. So, what did I learn from Foo Fighters? Sometimes you have to make hard decisions in order to achieve the success you want. Don't take yourself too seriously. Sometimes doing the unexpected thing pays off. Like hugely. Nice guys don't always finish last. Keeping a band together is hard work. The longer you do something, the better you get at it. And perhaps the most important thing I learned from Foo Fighters is, no one's getting out of here alive. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every Tuesday. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you next week.